What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the Border City Kids. We are going to be checking out the weather for the next little bit here. The deep freeze is still on, especially for the eastern half of Canada and the United States. It has just been relentless in how cold that it's been. It's been bone chilling, and it really doesn't seem to have an end in sight. We're going to go over some of the temperatures that we're expected to see over the next few days, the wind chills that we're going to be seeing, and this is going all the way down deep into Florida. We are going to be looking at total snow amounts. We're also going to be looking at whether or not we're going to be trending upward or downward over the next few weeks. As far as I can see, we are having no end in sight of the current weather that we're experiencing. But welcome. Please hit the subscribe button if you want updates on your weather to know what your travel forecast looks like. And let's get right into it. So this is our forecast right now of what we're looking at in the next week or so as far as precipitation goes. Now, for the most part, it is pretty quiet out there. There's not too much going on. On the eastern side, North and South Carolina, we are likely going to see a nor'easter event take place with lots and lots of snow. So if you are in North Carolina, South Carolina, and maybe the Virginia area, have an eye out for that because it will be snowing quite a bit this weekend. We also have a disturbance off the west coast right now where Washington and Oregon are. Looks like rain for the most part, so you don't have to worry about any snow. It is warmer out west, and you can see the freeze line. As we head east, it really drops down further south and reaches all the way down to pretty much at the northern tip of Florida at certain points. Now, we do see a pushback as the week goes along, so we will see the temperatures slightly trend upward, which gives us our potential for the next snowstorm, which we are likely to see in about a week. Now, where that goes, we don't know yet. The current models are not 100% certain, but as we go through the modeling, we can see something come off the west coast, and we'll see it here in a second on this radar right here. And we're not sure if it's going to travel further north, further south. It just depends on how far up the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico wants to push up and how far down the cold, dry air from the Arctic wants to push down. So where that meets is where we're going to see some snow. I have a feeling it might be through the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley region, so we might be seeing some snow. And this is just our 24-hour precipitation right now. There's not too much in the way of what's going on there. Like I said, just out west, Washington, Oregon, those are your areas. Up in Canada into British Columbia, you are seeing a bunch of rain. But like I said, have an eye out right now for North Carolina, South Carolina. You will be seeing a nor'easter event take place. You will be seeing a lot of snow. Over the next week or so, the next 7 days, we are going to be seeing a bunch of snow, and I feel like this is where that forecasted snowstorm is predicted to come through. Now you see those pink orangey type areas. That could be where this storm rolls through. This is not certain. It's still a week out. We're going to need a few more days to see exactly where this goes through, but we know for sure that something is going to be coming through, and at some point we will probably see it. So have an eye out for that. Check out a forecast in a couple days, and we can be a little bit more certain. And as we get closer to this event, we can definitely give you more accurate information. As far as the current watches and warnings and advisories, this is what our map looks like right now. As you can see, North Carolina, South Carolina, northern parts of Georgia, you are in the winter storm warning right now. So you are going to be hit with heavy snow, and this is like a nor'easter. It's going to have a spin on it, and it's going to bring some real snow to your area, bringing right off that east coast, and it's going to travel up the east coast. But I think those are your main regions, and the southern portion of Virginia are going to be hit the hardest. And as you can see, even the southern part of Texas and the southern part of Florida still under that freeze watch. So you can see this is where that jet stream, where the cold air is meeting up with, like, the jet stream is what separates pretty much the warm air from the cold air, and that's dipping down all the way to Texas and Florida. So this is a very intense system. This is our current temperature anomaly right now, what we're looking at. So the western half of the USA, we're looking at British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, those areas, you are above average. Manitoba as well, same thing. northern parts of Ontario are going to be above average, but you see down where the Great Lakes region is, through Indiana, Ohio, all the way down to Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, these areas are under 20, 23, 24, 25 degrees below average right now, and that is diving really far south. And this seems to be trapped. So we don't see really an end in sight for this weather that's quite under average, but we'll have a look out for that. Here's our current temperatures that we're actually seeing right now, and this is over the next few days. And it is the eastern portion of the United States, once again, that is just dominated by this cold front that's just diving deep into the states. And you can see the freeze mark head all the way down to Florida through pretty much past Miami, which is intense. This is a very, very strong system, and I believe these are the coldest temperatures that we're going to see this winter, and we're only halfway done. Now you can see the whole province of Ontario, totally under average. We're looking at Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Kentucky, Tennessee. All these areas are well under average, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. Hopefully this cold weather eventually shifts out east, but we're not seeing too much right now. New York, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, all these areas are under average. And this is more of like the wind chills, what we're looking at. So on top of the cold temperatures that we're already experiencing, look at these wind chills all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Look at that, all the way down to the southern tip of Texas and all the way down into Florida. Look at how that dives all the way down there. And as far as the temperature of the Gulf of Mexico, it just cools those waters off, which is going to keep them with cooler temperatures. Now we see pretty much I would say about 95% of the United States is going to see the freeze mark at some point, because this is such an intense system. We have the mountain region over Colorado, which is probably going to see a bunch of snow and freezing cold temperatures. But the temperatures we're seeing over the Great Lakes region especially, well under average. And that's with the wind chill. And those wind chill values are negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit, which is absolutely freezing. And we're seeing negative 25 degrees up in Quebec. So this is super, super cold weather. Now, if you're hoping for a positive trend, if you're on the East Coast, next 6 to 10 days, we're not seeing too much in the way of positive weather. The western half of the U.S. is pushing into that above average lookout. And if you're in that area, you are lucky. You should see at least positive over average seasonal temperatures. On the East Coast, you're well below. Check out the southern half of Florida. You are predicted to be well below average, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. So if you're on that eastern half, hang in there, because you still got a while to go. And this is our 2-week outlook. Pretty much the same thing, not too much different to report. If you're in Nevada, Arizona, if you're in the portions of Utah, Idaho, Montana, Washington, Oregon, and California, you are looking to be well above average. You can look forward to some better temperatures. But on the East Coast, nothing is going to change too much. As far as precipitation goes in the next 6 to 10 days, for the most part, because it's going to be so cold, you can expect that the overall precipitation is going to be down. And for the next 2 weeks, it kind of levels off a bit, but it's just too cold to snow. Unfortunately, that's just what we're looking at, and that's for the next 2 weeks. If you are in, there looks like to be some moisture pushing up from Mexico, where you might see some precipitation in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and also in Montana. So we might see some kind of precipitation up north in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana. But other than that, it looks fairly quiet. Now, we will probably see something, like I said, come through in the next week. We'll keep an eye on that. Here is your overall trend for the next while as far as overall temperature goes. Now, we do see a bit of a warm-up coming if we just follow this trend for a bit, but we do see that cold air still stuck in the southeastern portion of the United States, covering Texas and all those states that I mentioned earlier. It doesn't look to have an end in sight. So that cold front is really just kind of trapped, and it doesn't have anywhere to go. So this is what our temperatures are looking like for the next little while. So we do see a few warm shots in the next 2 weeks. We do see it give finally, but then we see a cold front kind of follow, and it heads down into the Florida regions again. So we'll see what happens. It is a couple weeks away, but we're not too sure on this. And once again, here's just so that was whether we're going to be over or below average temperatures. These are the actual temperatures for the next little while. So you can tell where the freeze line is. It does seem to push back up in the next 2 weeks to the further northern states, but we can see that it does start to push down. We do see some kind of cold front come down and push it all the way the freeze line down into Florida again. It doesn't look like this pattern's going to end. So February could end up being a pretty cold month, but that is what we're looking at for the next while, and that is what it is. So if you are enjoying these forecasts, unfortunately there doesn't seem to be an end in sight to this cold weather, and that's unfortunately just the way it is. Thanks for joining me on this forecast. I will keep posting these. I'll come back tomorrow. We'll give an update on whether or not a snowstorm is going to come through in the next week or so. We'll also take a look at North Carolina, South Carolina, and see what that nor'easter event's looking like. But other than that, it's fairly quiet. It's fairly cold if you're on the eastern half, and you're over average on the western coast. So thanks for watching. I'm Brian at the Border City Kids podcast.